YouTube, it is time for the top 8 of the Meta Weekly. Every single week, mate, I watch as long as you can. That greatly supports these videos. Lunalight auto wins if they summon the Liger. And because of that, a lot of people are teching in Kaijus, maybe even searchable Kaijus. Sky Striker could search their Kaiju. Fiendsmith could search their Kaiju. We also have Mitsurugi, which could search their Kaiju. Well, because of that, we don't just summon one, we summon two. If we could summon two, we even beat the decks that could search the Kaiju. Well, ideally, your deck plays a searchable Kaiju and then enough hand traps to stop them from summoning the second Liger. That is how you beat this deck. Yes, I'm sorry, you need a side deck to beat them or you just lose. That's the game state at the moment, and be happy that they don't have Baguska, all right? Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Black Sheep, searching for our polymerization. Hit them with the Droll and Lockbird. I mean, this hand sucks, by the way. This is trash. The Perfume against Droll is not gonna be able to search, so we're in a bad spot. Now, so our goal here was we have to get Perfume in the graveyard to then search our deck, but to get this in the graveyard, we get hit by Droll. This, unfortunately, was, we didn't play bad against Droll, we just did what we could do, which was nothing. There you go. Didn't summon Liger because of our hand trap. That's how you beat him. Well, hopefully the Maxi can survive, allow us to survive, but it's not going to allow us to survive because they have Ash. Trax gonna search for the Lurie. Lurie Reborn. Trax could otherwise search for the Santa Claus, which could deal with the Liger, Ash, negate. And we scoop it up, Nate. All right. You stopped me from summoning Liger. I know you're gonna win this turn. Let's move on to the next one as we attempt again to summon our auto win card. I don't know if he's playing Santa. If you look on the website, there's actually a lot of people playing Santa, even before Lunalight. Let's see that. Santa, it's not even really a new tech. Santa Claus, as we scroll on down here, there are enough. If Fiendsmith Control, it's about 10%. If we also, you could check on the top decks page, you could even, let's say, zoom this out to last 4 weeks. Santa Claus it up. It's not an amazing amount, but it's gonna be going up, and it is just mainly connected with Fiendsmith due to it being searchable. Chick is gonna be adding a polymerization. The Sheep's gonna add back Engrave a monster. The Perfume Dancer is gonna be searching the deck for a Perfume, which we already have in the hand. So ideally you wanna chain link block your Ash-like effects. Now for some reason, the Perfume is not a hard once per turn. We could reborn 2 Lunalights. We could search our deck for 2 Lunalights. Why? I think because it's really old. Old cards didn't have a hard once per turn clause in them. Liger number 1, under Fua. But we don't know if this is an auto win if they have a searchable Kaiju through the Fiendsmith engine. Engraver grab track, track to add Santa Claus, we then lose. So S.A. Bori, do we do it? Discard Fua, search our deck for the Wolf. And he's doing it. He's summoning a second Liger. Auto win. We force out double Liger under Fua loss. There's no way to win. This is first turn kill. Okay. We Santa 1, and then we survive the turn. Well, yeah, and then we return it back in the deck, okay? We have to give them Santa, then kill Santa, then return Santa back in the deck, and then we have to gain access to that Santa again, and we just have to survive through 4 attacks. Attack, 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 attack. Can we do it? There's Santa. Santa is here. So instead of 4 attacks, they just have just 2. So we have to recycle the Santa in some way. How do we do that efficiently? We got Santa engraved. We got to return it back now. Let's go. We can Liger destroy a special summon monster whenever we want. Let's Requiem. Come forth into Crimson Tear, send Engraver here. Returning back the Moon, not the Santa. Wait a second. Doesn't Lacrima add back Santa? Yeah. Target Santa and add it back to your hand. 1 Santa is enough. Let's freaking go, but we gotta stop them from summoning the sequence. Well, I think that was it. Santa is meta. Give them Santa, destroy it by battle, make sequence, make Lacrima, then return Santa back to your hand. And just like that, that is your out. So Fiendsmith is the best way, because the Wusu can only tribute over one Liger Dancer once per turn, and the Santa is summonable more than once per turn in the same turn. Yup, there you go. But, you know, you gotta do it through the effect to destroy special summoned. So even though you have the outs, good luck doing it. But that's very nice to see. So I would say Santa is the best thing we have, without messing up your deck with main deck and lava golems, which are not going to really be searchable outside of thrusting into that spell that you have to discard to even activate. Then you suck against other decks. One Santa is the least invasive way that you all should be playing with Fiendsmith. Heavy Poly. I mean, what are we even going to be talking about here? We have Santa even ready for next turn if there is another turn, but usually if you're able to summon the Liger on your turn, you can just win that turn. We do have an Omni Negate, 2 special summon negate. We could take control. We're also going to be able to non-target send a card from the field to the graveyard with the Dingirsu. We're also going to be able to set up the Crown, which can negate an effect from the extra deck, 6 forms of disruption. Now, the effect from the extra deck will very likely be chain link blocked, as we're going to summon the Perfume. Now, the effect you can negate with the Crown will be the other effect of returning a Lunalight card you control to then special summon. And by negating the effect, they don't get to return at all. That's very good. But 6 disruption. Grab the Leo with the Tenki. Leo's gonna search our deck. Negate and banish the Leo. Off the field you go. Uh-oh. We can't heavy poly. We can't poly. Both cards will be negated by the Wave King Caesar. Hound will be negated by Wave King Caesar. So now, if we could bait out another special summon effect, we could then use the heavy poly. So we're down to 4 disruption. We used the heavy poly right away. All right, well, the polymerization was not even activatable. We already used up our normal summon. So I guess we surrender now. That's it. Good try. Fiendsmith to have the best chance against Lunalight, that is the way. Let's Engraver, search our deck for Tract, into the Droll and Lockbird. This is the rare instance where Droll does affect Fiendsmith, but mostly Fiendsmith is unaffected by Droll. As soon as they could go into a Requiem, Droll completely unaffects them. Just like that, we're gonna Harp Horror. Now, thankfully, the Orcus portion of the deck also is completely unaffected by Droll. Through a Droll and Lockbird, we have Crescendo, which can negate and banish anything. We have the Enlil Gursu, which can non-target take control of a monster. We can then non-target, send a card from the field to the graveyard with the Dingirsu. That's triple disruption. And then the 4th disruption could be the Link 1 searching for a World Crown play, get the World Crown out, and then negate a card from the extra deck. About 4 forms of disrupt. Drex. Drex is, you know, a meta weekly winner. He knows. He just, all right, he knows how to play Malice. He's won tournaments with Malice. He can identify that even though it's just 3 to 4 disruptions, that we can't play through it. Let's hop into game 2. Begin. Set Impulse Pass. Now, a set Impulse not only gets around the downside of Impulse turning off your Droll and Lockbird from being activatable, but the Impulse, only while set, is activatable against a Requiem. If Requiem wants to jump off the field and summon, there'd be nothing on the field, thus it wouldn't be activatable. So we do have additional usage with the Impulse. Gursu is going to send from the deck, summon a token onto each side of the field. You do not want to Ash the Gursu. Very good. Now, the downside of setting the Impulse when you know you're playing against Orcus is they will always be able to very easily go into a Nightmare Phoenix to pop your back row card. And that would be the reason to not set, but we do have double impulse. Senjin into the back row, special summon, search our deck. We could hit them with the Droll and Lockbird just like that. But this deck plays efficiently around the Droll. We're going to go into Moon the Closed Heaven, into the Requiem. We cannot impulse this, but we can Ash. Ash, negate. Just like that, Nate, we already used up our normal summon. Got him. We're going to Golem at least. Golem special summon from the back row. Harp Horror is going to summon from the deck. You know, it's like we messed up, but did we mess up? What happened here? You cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except dark monsters. Golem is not a dark monster. So we have to summon Golem first if we want Golem out. If we first do the Harp Horror, well, they can't impulse it because there's nothing on our field. So by playing around our summon restriction, getting the Golem out first, that is what screwed us by the impulse. And maybe we even thought that they don't have an impulse in the hand. We destroyed the only impulse that was on the field. Got him. Well, with that, we are now going to still play. Symbol is going to be reborning the Gursu. Gursu is going to be turning itself into a Galatea Link 1. Further turn these two bodies into the Galatea 2. We're going to return back the banished symbol, set a Babel onto the field. Galatea Link 1 reborn itself back onto the field. With the Babel face up, we're now going to turn ourselves into Dingursu, attach the banished Harp Horror, turn both bodies into a little knight. We're going to banish away the Ash Blossom in Grave. By battle, take out the token. Oh yeah, that was turn 2. Now, what are we dealing with here? Ooh, Allure and Chessie. No way to stop the Allure. We're going to have to Maxi in response to the Allure. Now, with this field, we could chain banish with the Little Knight. We also have the quick effect of, do we have a symbol in the deck? Yes, we can. So we're going to be able to reborn the Dingursu to non-target, send a card from the field to the graveyard. We could also potentially, I think we're actually not going to be able to, I'm looking at the hand and graveyard. I don't think we have a way to get into the World's Crown. So we have double disruption plus Maxi. Double disrupt, we chain Maxi to the Allure as I suspected. Yep. Okay. Perelia in the main deck. Banish away the Chessie. Chessie is limited to 1 now. We're going to be banishing away the March Hare. The Chessie was already banished this turn, so Little Knight banishing, ensure it does not come back. We want to stop them from being able to summon into a Splash Mage. We don't want them to Link 3. They have not committed to the normal summon yet, and they drew into their one of Dormouse. Allure of Darkness again. The Babel is stopping us from activating Fualas. Dormouse come forth, and now we're going to Dingursu send the Dormouse before it activates to banish. Summon a Gursu. Gursu will send a Symbol. Symbol reborn the Dingursu. And I mean, we have Baldrake. Shite. What the? Banish the Dingursu. Galatea is going to chain banish the Dingursu, but the Dingursu's not coming out now. Galatea Link 1 is here. Now, if we search for the World's Crown, how do we get it out? We don't. That's it. We're done. That was our only play. And Drex, well, I mean, we're under the effect of Max C. That's quite beneficial here. To battle we go. Let's take them out. Smack him to the face. Are we committing to a Link 3? Lethal damage! The Millennium Engine reduced his life by too much. Even under Max C, we take it. 1-1 victory. Interesting duels here. The summon lock into the impulse kind of messes us up a little bit. We just have impulse. Only impulse. We could not impulse the Requiem. There's got to be a card in the field. So you do have to always be thinking, if they have a card like Impulse, Impulse is definitely very much prevalent in the meta to try to be dodging. Ooh, we now have a starter and 3 extenders. So you would assume we need 4 forms of disruption to stop the 4 plays, right? Well, we could non-target take. We could negate and banish. Could banish a card from the graveyard, but, you know, that's not that incredible. That may not be strong enough to stop one of their extender plays. They then have the ability to Dingirsu, non-target, send a card from the field to the graveyard. The non-target take and non-target send are going to be very powerful. And also the Omni Negate is very, very powerful. And so that's right there for disruption. And then we could possibly, we have Symbol. Ooh, it does look like we're going to be able to, with the Galatea, set up the Crown. Crown will negate an extra deck monster. So that's about 4 to 5 disruptions. I don't think Crossout's not going to be helping out here. Well, against the Jesse, let's just take it. So we have 4 plays versus 5 disruption. We're going to take away one of their plays, and then we're now down to 4 disruption. 3 more plays, 4 more disruption. Banish a Dormouse, Dormouse come back. Let's Dingirsu. Dingirsu, send the door. So we now have about 2 more plays and 3 more disruption. So disrupt, plays, goodbye to Dormouse. We have 3 more disruption, 2 more plays. Banish the White Rabbit. Negate the White Rabbit from coming out. So we have 1 final play and 2 more. We have 1 more play and 2 more disruption. Lingaribo. Summon the backup Ignister. Backup Ignister searching for the March Hare here. March Hare is going to be discarded. We're going to further go into a Splash Mage. So this is when we would have to go into the World Crown, which it looks like we're, well, or we could just use Druistorm to banish whatever we're targeting. Yep, March Hare gets banished here, and then we lose. There. We now have 0 plays, and we're out of here. Well done. Easy math. I had to double check if we were having the capability of even going into a World Crown. I think we already, did we already Harpour that turn? I'd have to double check. Ash, negate. Got you, mate. Link Decoder is here. Back up Ignister. We have no forms of disruption. I think Malice is very much still one of the best decks. I'm leaning towards Orcus being a little bit better. Now, what do we have here that's insane? I don't even know if this is worth playing out. Negate and banish everything, banish a card in the field, banish a card on the field, negate a special summon. I don't want to, boost up the fluff by saying Binder can banish cards in the graveyard, which is not going to be too beneficial here. So about 4 really good disruptions. At least 3 are really good. Negate and banish. We have 2 more non-target banishes. See, we don't even want to set our back row because we know they're just going to get banished. Negate, GWC mate, and then Cryptor, banish one of the back rows. All right, finish me. Comms Boy just doesn't want to reveal the sauce. I mean, we told them we're playing Dynamorphia. It's not like our hand was that special. Maybe like we're reminding them we play Solemn Strike. We don't want them to know that. Set 4 pass. I never see him set 5. He can't do it. Now, we could negate a monster no matter where it is. Ideally, we flip up the Frenzy. They try to Ash. We then intact negate the Ash. We also have negate a monster on the field with impermanence, and we have Solemn Judgment. Now, the core play, the core way here is going to be the Rex turn. Monsters that have an attack greater than or equal to your life points as you're continually reducing your life simply cannot activate. And the monster, it's not the monster that can't activate, the opponent cannot activate the monster. One of the best outs to this is going to be the Triple Tactics talent. So Hakimo has to bait Solemn Judgment in some way. I don't know how we're going to do it, because Solemn has to be used on the Triple Tactics. This is it. Frenzy, Ash, intact, and then Triple Tactics, Solemn Judgment. It looks like a checkmate to me. We have the out for the Ash, we have an out for the Triple Tactics, and if we cannot force out Solemn Judgment, then we're in big trouble. So how do we do this? Hakimo has to have the proper foresight and discipline to not use the triple tactics talent. If we could trick them into solemn judgmenting, what's a really good solemn judgment? I would pretty much always solemn judgment a red ransom. Or if you try to go in an access code talker. And while we can't activate monsters on the field, we could still activate from the banish. We could still get a Magnum HUD out. We could at least +2 additional bodies. If we could get them to negate a Link 3 and then take the Rex term and then try to do something with it, that's probably going to be our best play. But I think he's just going to shotgun the triple tactics and have no other play. He's not. He's not. Hakimo knows that this deck plays Solemn Judgment. Of course. What? We banished backup? What the heck is that? Well, Lingeribo does not negate Solemn. Magnum Hut banish Chessie. Chessie come back. Oh, no, no. We had to Link summon into the Solemn. Now he's just gonna negate. Negate. I don't know what happened with Goldsark. What? Why? Why did we, we misclick? Can't even activate. Yeah. It's like, a Link 3 is just almost too good to not negate with Solemn. It's improperly summoned. It's out of the extra deck. They can't banish it from the grave to get the effect. You gotta try to force them out. You gotta trick them to Solemn. But, again, we see the back row. It's a lot different when they're just face down. Let's mouse an Underground. We have Imperm and Ash. No more. Can you summon an Apollo to stop my Ash? So our best uses of Ash will be the Mouse in the Mirror, the White Binder trying to come back from being banished. Is this a good use of Ash? I mean, we could already identify that they're gonna be able to make a red ransom here. They're gonna be able to reborn if needed. They even have a normal the fact that, I would say if they didn't have the normal summon, then maybe ashing can be okay. But the fact that they can normal summon a literal hand trap, that's crazy. Well, I mean, to be fair, it did need to be a Malice to turn it into the red ransom. Well, we're screwed. Set 4. Okay, we're gonna non-target banish 2 of these cards. Wait, why are we're in the end phase? Okay, well we could still, this is fine. We could banish the White Rabbit, yep. So we're not doing a March Hare play. This works out, this is fine. We actually cannot Bestial. So we're not gonna even set up an MTP. You what, mate? No Bestial play, ain't no way. Max C in the draw phase, non-target banish within the draw phase. Now, there is a way where we could be in a good spot. What is that way? Probably not actually. But the domain says you can only activate 1, and the allied code, you can only activate, this effect will negate and banish the card. Since you're negating the activation, you would then be able to activate the other one. So the cope is, he banishes the impermanence, you domain, he negates domain, you activate the other domain, then he impulses. We're kind of checkmated. Well, there goes domain. But we could still use imperm. Imperm onto the allied. Now, this is why you want Lingeribo in the graveyard. If Lingeribo's in the graveyard, you get to dodge impermanence. Imperm negate, Lingeribo mate. We don't have Lingeribo in circulation, which you should normally always try to do if you're going to be making an allied code talker play. Imperm, Lingeribo in grave, chain tribute to dodge the impermanence. And now we can't impulse the domain. And Kentragina is copying an effect to special summon, but her effect is not to special summon. So we're not going to be able to impulse the Kentergina, but because we're amazing, we have impermanence also. Imperm negates, like, oh my gosh, give me a chance, man. Like, let me try. Nope. Let's finish the duel. Now, Druid Swarm beats Rexterm anyway. So even if we didn't have Imperm, we just have a Druid Swarm. The Rexterm stops the monsters from activating on the field. You summon Druid Swarm, you get Druid Swarm in the grave, it sends Rexterm to the grave, you're done. We had outs for days to stop the Rexterm. Well done. Doesn't Rexterm have 0 defense? I don't know what its defense is, but yeah, the Red Ransom swapping the attack and defense is just kind of funny. We have cross out for their Ash. So this is a pretty good spot, possibly. Let's see. We do not want to Ash that. What are our disruptions? Negate a monster, negate anything, pop cards on the field, Ash negate interaction with the deck, Tristaros could turn into a spell and trap card negate. It's about 6 disruption. In verse 6 disruption, let's see what we could do. We're going to get Ash right away, not even waiting for the Saji to hit the field. We're going to cross out Designate, which negates our own Ash. Ash would have been good to use against Tristaros. We're going to Cyber Dragon Infinity. Negate the cross out Designate. Negate. No Habakiri for you, mate. Now, with Habakiri being used up, we're going to summon the Aramasa. Aramasa is going to be searching the deck for a card as we go into the Dragster. As I said, we would want to Ash that. Why didn't we Ash that? Why no Ash? Well, we don't have any other spell traps, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But we will when we tribute off the Habakiri. We tribute off the Baron to Floor and the Habakiri. We're not under the effect of cross-out Designate negating our Ash, so otherwise our Ash is not going to be used against anything else. Wusu dealing with the Baron to Floor. No chain link block for the Habakiri as it attempts to search our deck. Negate. The Infinity already activated. We have Cluster. More Disrupt where that came from. And just like that, even with the Kaiju, Crystron proved to be too much. Prayers in the draw phase. Maxi, you got me. Now, even though we tributed a monster, we're not committed. It's not, oh, you tributed, you have to summon onto the field after taking 800, and you can't change your mind because I maxied. Yeah, you can. You can change your mind. Right now, you have to choose, do we even want to summon? We don't. We didn't do it. Searching for the Purification. And let's Mitsurugi Ritual under the effect of Maxi. Come forth, Murakumo. We could just pass on this. Resolve these effects, obviously. With just Murakumo, Purification, Impulse, and Droll, we're in a pretty good spot. Bakiri, Kusanagi, add back the prayers. Oh my Jesus, yup, this is incredible. Force them in a discard, we could board wipe them, we could negate a special summon, we could negate anything with Purification, we could Droll and Lockbird them, stopping them from adding any more cards from the deck to the hand. 5 forms of disruption under the effect of Maxi, and they start their turn with only 6 cards in hand. So the Maxi only 1 for 1. It didn't even +1. Senjin is here. Impulse, negate. Not today, mates. 4 more disruption. Now, Sulfador has to have a Crystron you control to destroy it to then special summon this card. Now, you can tribute summon Sulfador. If we were to just get the Senjin out, normal summon Sulfador, and we could have popped off. Well, because we couldn't even at minimum do that, the stop on Senjin stopped all the Senjin plays, Zombie Vampire, the tribute summoning. So really good on Mitsurugi for just negating it. We got Sulfador and Tristaros. Impulse is all we have. That's it. When do we Impulse? We're We're gonna grab the Sulfaneer, Smiger here, grab the Inclusion, Sulfaneer, discard a card, pop itself, summon from the deck, Tristaros. Inclusion's gonna be reborning back from engraved Tristaros. We're going to Crystron Alesk. Alesk will add back a banished or engraved card back to the hand. Inclusion's gonna search for a cluster. We have Tristaros. This is it. This play is gonna +2 bodies in the field, negate. Well, so now it's only, instead of +2 bodies, they're gonna +1 body because they still summon 1 from the deck through the Tristaros on field. Come forth, Dragster. Dragster being able to negate a spell and trap card, being able to stop a pot of E or the prayers. Now, what do we have here? The cluster is going to, if you could target 2 if you control a Crystron Synchro, so we could pop 2 cards. That's 1 disruption. Dragster negate a spell and trap. Imperm negate a monster. Cobble the Grave Finger engrave a Mitsurugi. This going to 1, I think, was a nice boost for Mitsurugi. So beyond that, 4 forms of disruption. The first thing in main phase 1 has to be a pot of E. Randomly banish, Dragster, negate. 3 more disrupt. Prayers, tributing off the Murakumo. Do we finger Murakumo now? This could be a good option too. Let's do it. Finger it. This was not properly summoned, so if you had some effective chain to pull it from the graveyard to reborn, it would not be possible. So we're not gonna have to worry about a field wipe. We still have a monster negate, but it has to be on the field, mate. So by summoning and sending to the graveyard, plays around impermanence. Impulse, we don't got Impulse for Ritual. Impulse is one of the best outs of the Ritual. You can't even Ash this, so Impulse is the way. You could Ash the effect of summoning from the deck, but summoning from the hand and using deck for materials is not Ashable. Serpent Reborn. We don't have Kusanagi to add back, but instead of sending Kusanagi, we're gonna add it to normal summon. Okay. Normal the Kusanagi. Now we're gonna imperm the Kusanagi, and instead of sending Kusanagi from the deck, we would have been able to add it otherwise, but we could still use the Magatama to dodge the impermanence. Now we're left with just the Crystron cluster. And this has to target a face-up card your opponent controls. Had we held on to Magatama, we could have waited for the cluster to pop it when it were activating to pop our own cards. Instead, we have to dodge the impermanence. Now we have the Ashable effect. This is good. This is great. This is almost a gamble. Not so much. I think this is a good activation because we know the Habakiri is going to be able to reborn back and search the deck. So we stop the search, we stop the reborn, and then it's a maybe. Do they maybe with the 1 card in hand, can they pay the cost of a ritual summon? No. It's hidden information. We see that they can't, and it actually is a great play. Well done. Fizzled on the ritual. All right, let's follow up from there. Banish away the Habakiri. Is Maxi fingered right now? No. Are we like, why not Maxi? Are we like, we gave up? Yeah, we did. I think we walked away. we toggled off and walked away, 100%. I don't blame him. That's fine. Let your opponent play out, sure. You don't seem salty by surrendering early if you know the duel's gonna end very quickly anyway. Are you ready? Let's go. White Rabbit on summon, send to the back row, MTP. This is top 4, thank you very much. Top 4, MTP into the back row, banish away the White Rabbit. We're going to Ash negate, thus we now could follow up with a triple tactics talent mate. What is good as we resummon back the White Rabbit? We have no play here, so we have to draw 2. Let's draw it. Come to me off the top of the deck. There we go. Wizard's the play. We need a Cybers from the extra deck so we could Wizard reborn back the White Rabbit. Now, does the Wizard still summon? Let's read this. The Wizard says, if you control a Cybers that was summoned for the extra deck, target a Dark Cybers, special summon both this card in your hand and that monster in defense. It does not summon. Does not, it's stuck in the hand. So we can't even make like a minimal play if we wanted to, Splash Mage, go into a Heat Soul, draw a card even. Even if it did summon, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Now, holy moly. Impulse, imperm, Quadra Disruption. We do not impulse this engine. We're allowed to go through. Imperm is now in Duel Links, and Duel Links is only 3 columns. So in Duel Links, this is now a floodgate. You could completely turn off spell and trap cards for the entire turn. Impulse, negate, the goal of mate. 3 more disruption. We have Sulfaneer, summon pop itself. You can't imperm that. Summon from the deck, Sulfador. I think this is a good imperm usage. Negates, normal the Ash. Let's go into the Excel Synchro Stardust. And to battle we go. Nothing else worth imperming, as we almost have lethal damage. You may as well just scoop if you're at 300 life or lower, right? Any mouse effect when banished is going to be 300 life to even activate. So what you need to do is you have to set up a GWC, and you also need to have a mouse link on the field or engrave. When you activate GWC on resolution, if there's no mouse link, you do not gain life. And that's the only way we're gaining life. Zombie Vampire. This is going to give options to the Wizard of what we want to reborn from the graveyard. Right now, we don't have anything good to reborn from the grave, but we still also need a Cyberse link on the field to even activate the effect. Nonetheless, we're still going to imperm negate. All right, quite an interesting situation we have here. We have another Bestial to stop the Wizard, though. Little Knight on summon will be banishing away the final copy of imperm. 4,000 life is quite scary. Using our double Millennium, we could very easily get 1 turn killed next turn. We do have the protection of Little Knight and a Druid Swarm. Ooh, okay. Normal, Almirage, you could Wizard, but only Wizard if there's something rebornable from Engrave. Well, what's rebornable? A Dark Cyber, summon this and that monster in defense. Now, many cards, I would say the Cyberse archetype, when they say defense, they also mean a monster that's not a link. So they specifically add the defense position clause so that now we can't target the engrave link decoder. So this is not even activatable. There's no Dark Cyberse that's summonable in defense. Yep, there you go. You know, you could try, target, put your link monster in defense. Maybe they won't say anything. Ooh, loss. In our draw phase right away, can we efficiently play through Fua? Well, a Banish Special Summon is not going to be a draw. That's fine. Another Banish Special Summon, perfectly fine. Chessie resolving, so we didn't Ash. Another Banish Special. Bro, I Fua lost you. What the heck is going on? As we're now going to normal summon the backup Ignister into the March Hare. I would say it's worth it to still go into a Ransom. They're going to get 1 draw, so what? We need a mouse link for the MTP to be a disruption, or go into Cryptor instead. Cryptor being in the way. So either we wanted the mouse and mirror, or we have a Cryptor. Now, we don't have a banish card yet, but we could easily get 1 banished through the March Hare. And now they're going to Magnum Hunt, banish away our backup Ignister, activate to search for another Bestial. So what are our forms of disrupt? Okay, he's still banishing, sure, get rid of our White Rabbit. We're going to, within the end of the turn, non-target banish away the Druid Swarm. And MTP? Yo, mate? This is interesting. If we had the ability to do so, we could March Hare, banish the MTP, Cryptor, return back MTP to banish, and then if we had, let's say, a Bestial or a GWC, we could then get access to the White Rabbit, and then the White Rabbit could set the MTP from the deck again, because we return it back with Cryptor, to then still have that double non-target banish that is. But since we only have March Hare, we don't have that play. We have non-target banish, negate a special summon, and Ash negate. Yep, okay. Non-target banish away, potentially banishing the inclusion. We're gonna impulse, negate, and destroy the Tristaros because MTP is in the graveyard. Off the field you go, great impulse, as the inclusion now gets banished and stopped. Now, the inclusion, when this card's activated, you can only activate this card once per turn, I believe. Yeah, you can only activate one Crystron inclusion per turn. So just like that, we're left with just a Nibiru and an Ash. Backup Ignister is going to be summoned here as we add from the deck, then discard. Dormouse is going to be banishing from the deck. Reborn back, White Rabbit. White Rabbit's still playable at 3. We have March Hare banishing from Engrave. And to battle we go, more than enough for lethal damage. You can also GWC, banish the Cryptor, or Cryptor banish itself. It comes back at 5,600 attack. 5,600 more damage in addition to whatever we summon with the GWC. I mean, we don't have a play, at least. But we should, if we have no play, we should at least be able to dismantle their field and or stop it completely. Negate the inclusion. Their Fua losses are now dead. Dead Fua. Sulfaneer, summon to pop itself here. Activate to summon from the deck. Hit him with the Fua. This hurts. Kid Art's got 2 bricks in the hand. And this could be 2 freaking Maxis. At least they would be activatable. At least one of them would be during the next turn. We do have our normal summon if we want to normal summon the Fua loss to at least make a Little Knight. Imperm, negate the Sulfador. We drew into a brick. This is not going to be good. There we go. As I suspected, Little Knight pass. Brick after brick. We are bricking up like crazy. Sulfador reborn back. Inclusion for the reborn. Uh-oh. This is a draw too. We finally unbricked. Brick after brick into, wow. 2 play, we have 3 plays. White Rabbit, Backup, and Magnum Hut. Magnum Hut was not a play until we had a Malice. So we went from 0 plays, drawing a brick into another brick, into now having 3 plays plus still having a board breaker. Oh my gosh, Imperm's like a very mini board breaker. It's a 1-for-1 board breaker, not really a good board breaker. There goes the Infinity. White Rabbit set up the MTP. Lingaribo is here to get into the graveyard as we can now special summon the backup Ignister. Search in our deck for a Dormouse. Get the GWC in graveyard, Magnum Hut. We could use Mirror to banish the Dormouse here. So this Mirror is pinning down the Little Knight. We're begging him for an activate. Please, activate Little Knight so I can banish Door. Reborn, and if we don't have to banish the Door Mirror, then that's fine. You're just not gonna activate. We could go into an access code talker here if we want, as of course you wanna do when going second. Access code talker cannot pop your own cards, so this would obviously not be good on the turn 1 to get yourself banished. He's not able to chain Little Knight, and you can't use Malice and Mirror against something already negated. So for fun, we can't just do it. He's going to attempt to negate, but you can't do so. Mate, I think Konami needs to bring back, because it is very complicated, and I like complications in Yu-Gi-Oh! We need to bring back flipping cards face down. That needs to be a lot more prevalent here, because think about this. This is activating to negate something, and since you're already negated, I can't mirror negate you, but if you had a Book of Moon, you could flip it down, and now it would negate, and you wouldn't even be able to mirror stop it from negating your negate because you're already negated, and then you're wiping the negate with the Book of Moon. Where are the books at? Chessie Cat, Triple Tactics. I'm going to look at your hand and go, wow, that sucks. Let's, for the go, Chessie, banish. Obviously we win. Let's just win. Firewall, return it back. And just like that, 9,300 damage. Good job. 2-1 victory. Subterrors? Yeah, let's make Subterror, give Subterror some good support. I want tier 1 flipping face down. Engraver is going to be searching our deck for the Tract. And then we're ending. We have our own Fua loss. We have double impermanence. This is such a good impermanence. Negate. The Gursu is insane. It's, +1 normal summon, then it sends Harp Horror, which is a +2. Then the tokens you could summon, you get a token that's a +1. The token on their field's a +1 because you could take control of it. If you could make a Link 1, that's a +1. So in total, including the normal summon, this is like a +6. But they could still summon the Link 1 if they want to. Fua loss again. It's even like a +7 if they go into Mermaid. Jesus. Mermaid is essentially just a +1, but also access to your Orcus engine. So if you already have access to the Orcus engine, it's just a +1, but you are going to be discarding a card to do so. And then we got the Senjin, come forth, grab the Golem. We are under the effect of nothing. We just have the Imperm, and that's it. Moon of the Closed Heaven. When are we going to be Imperming? It's also turn 2. Are they just going to have lethal damage? For sure they will, right? Crimson Tear, send Engraver here. Let's Reborn the Engraver. Sequence. Now we Imperman. Negate the sequence. Can we put up over 8,000 damage? Are you ready? Let's Harpour, summon from the deck. Galatea Link 1, Reborn back on the field. Galatea Link 2, the Link 4 for some reason doesn't say 3 or more monsters. You could just use the sequence and the Galatea and you got it. Magnum Hunt, banish the Engraver. 8250, just like that. We don't have to do anything else. Lethal damage. Millennium is so good for board breaking. Can deal with a monster, easily put up 70, 750 damage. And of course, when you have Moon of the Closed Heaven and Mermaid just requiring 2 generic monsters, it's a no-brainer at how good the Millennium cards are. I think the player numbers are just going to go up from here. Masquerina it up. Now, what are our disruptions? Crescendo is going to be activatable thanks to the Link 1 Galatea. That's why we're going to summon it out very early. So with the Crescendo, we're going to be able to negate anything. Masquerina, we could double banish. With the Wave King Caesar, we could double special summon negates. And we could Gursu non-target, send a card from the field to the graveyard. And what else do we have here? I think that's going to be, yep, that's pretty much our plays. Only 6 disruption. Call to the Grave, fingering the Galatea. If the Galatea is fingered, we can't Crescendo. So, Crescendo's down. No Crescend. But Masquerina could link off into turning on the Crescendo, but then we lose the double Little Knight Banish. So, you know, we have options here. We're maybe 5 forms of disruption. Gursu send the symbol, which will turn on the Gursu play, or no, okay. We trade Gursu to instead have a Galatea to use with Crescendo. So 5 disruption, Little Knight double banish, Wave King Caesar double, special summon negate, and Crescendo negate anything. This is interesting. The Crown. You're activating Galatea with a Crown on the field. Now, how does the Crown work? Only if it was summoned from the extra deck can this negate it. So it's not going to be able to negate and destroy the Galatea since it was summoned from the grave. So this is fine. Still safe. Turn back. As we're now going to Masquerina. That was summoned from the extra deck. But we're going to Crescendo, negate, and banish, but it's not going to get banished. It's just going to stay in grave. But even if you were under the effect of Lancia, you would not even be able to activate the Crescendo, even though you're not banishing. Little Knight, let's get Banish and Mate. So we have 2 banishes and 2 Wave King Caesars. Banish on summon, banish again, and with the Wave King Caesar being ready, we were still more than enough to win. 1-1. Engraver, come to us tracked, no droll to stop the tracked. We did not Ash Blossom negate the tracked. Imperm and Ash, when is our most optimal use of Imperm Ash against a deck that we know is Orcust? Do we stop the Mermaid from summoning from the deck? They have to discard a card to then give them access to Orcust. This is going to be an Ash negate. Got you, mate. Well done. Now, they have already used up their normal summon. They can still Engraver Reborn. So I'm thinking we have Imperm for sequence. The Mermaid does not lock you out from summoning sequence. And now you imperm. So all you gotta do is just know what their plays are, what they're gonna be going into. The Orcus Nightmare was gonna dump a Harp Horror, so while you're thinking you're supposed to negate Harp Horror, why don't we stop them from the card that's gonna give them Harp Horror? Let's send from the deck. And so I would say that if they have a Harp Horror in their hand, they would probably discard it with the Mermaid. And if they have already used up their normal summon and they didn't discard a Harp Horror from the hand, then that's when you know it'd be safe to Ash them, mostly. And as we said earlier, someone was saying, hey, I bestialed a Harp Horror and they still played through it. It's still good to do. You still want to banish Harp Horror. I don't know. Do you? They're gonna get another Harp Horror because they have Gursu. So is that actually the best play? It's really difficult to say because they're gonna do it anyway. Oh no. The Bestial usage here is something I really gotta thonk because they could theoretically Wave King Caesar, negate your Bestial before you could even summon it. So they Wave King Caesar and then set up their Orcus play, and then you're screwed. So you see here, this is gonna be Wave King Caesar. Pretend that you held on a Druid Swarm because you didn't want to banish the Harp Horror early. And now you have Golem. Golem and the other cards could go into Mermaid. Yeah. It's just an inherent part of the deck of being able to play through well-timed hand traps. Droll and Lockbird. Okay, let's wedge you Temple, set up into the back row, send both, or the Doom Dragon on summon, push your Druid Swarm back, Galatail link 1, reborn itself back, link this off into Phoenix, into Mermaid. Do you remember long ago we banished that Harp Horror? This is how we go back into Harp Horror, because this deck is balanced. If Mermaid didn't exist, then hands down banishing the Harp Horror early would be good, but then now here's the second one. I like to think that you still do it, but I mean, how else can you catch them? There's a Wave King Caesar. If you waited, they would just negate you. I think the real answer is just make sure you're playing this deck yourself. All right. Seems balanced. We won going second. Wow. Good job. Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. Grand finale. Hajime. Start this off with a Gursu. You need an Imperm or Veiler against this, or you probably auto lose. We're going to summon a token onto both sides of the field. Now, you may be thinking, holy crap, I have to Magnum Hunt. Well, Gursu's so good, it does not give you a summon lock. A good way to check for a summon lock, you should do this on any deck you care about. Let's type in the deck type Orcus, or you could just type in the word Orcus. So Orcus here, and then the word cannot special. So this is gonna very quickly show you if they activate Harp Horror, Symbol, Orcus Nightmare, these are gonna be the main 3 cards that are gonna lock you out of non-dark monsters. And knowing that the deck is prevalently being played with Fiendsmith, they're not gonna shotgun the Harp Horror. They have a Fiendsmith play to make instead. So do you have to Bestial right away? Maybe you want to Bestial instead against the Fiendsmith plays because you know if you banish this Harp Horror, they're going to have access to another one very easily. Now, there is an issue here. The Orcus Nightmare is a Garnet. Garnet is something that must be in the deck to perform a combo. How is it a Garnet? Well, if we read the freaking Mermaid here, Mermaid discards a card to special summon the Nightmare, not from the hand or deck, but only from the deck. So a card like Snake Eye Ash summons the Flameburst from the hand or deck, so it's sometimes okay to draw it. But here, this is not okay. But the Tract could discard the Nightmare if we want. There's other ways to get this into the graveyard. Let's link this off into the Galatail Link 1. This could also discard the Orcus Nightmare. Multiple different ways to get it in grave, but we don't have the Mermaid play now. But so I would ask you, because we had the question of, do I Bestial Harp Horror? Well, if you visibly see an Orcus Nightmare in the grave alongside Harp Horror, it doesn't make sense to banish the Harp Horror because immediately they'll just put another one in grave. So if you know they have access to a Nightmare Mermaid, maybe you should have that same mindset of don't even bother, maybe just scoop. Moon of the closed heaven, come forth into Requiem. Now, what is this? We have a crescendo to negate and banish anything. We can non-target take control of a monster with the Enlil Gursu. We could destroy and negate 2 special summon effects. We could then Mask Arena into double Little Knight Banish. We could then non-target send a card from the field to the grave with the Enlil Gursu while engraved that was sent there through the Mask Arena. We could ding Gursu non-target send a card from the field to the grave. And then we could also, with the Galatea Link 1, reborn it, discard World Wand, search for Crown, summon Crown. Crown will negate and destroy something summoned from the extra deck, activating 9 disruptions. Did we have we had a Bestial. A Bestial and they still had 9. Great. Welcome to the new best deck. Crescendo. You want to turn off 2 of my disruptions? How about I negate your mirror and I just lose 1 disruption instead? It's a very good disruption though. Negate and banish. Link Spider. Battle Phase. Ooh, you want to take out my Mask Arena? Bro, you could damage step this. Let him attack. Why not? This is a damage step effect. It's quick, it affects the attack. Let them go to sub step 2. He still does it. Okay. Imperm the Caesar. We're now at 6 disruptions. Let's now discard the Dormouse with the backup Ignister. We're gonna banish with the Druiswarm. Dormouse gonna come back after being banished. We're going to non-target take. I'm gonna take your Malice. You can't make a Malice link without your Malice. Now it's Mask Arena, link off into the Enlil Gursu. I think we have 5 disruption left. I forgot if I took off a disruption. Little Knight Banish. We have March Hare, which is gonna be banishing from the hand here. Symbol Skeleton for the Ding Gursu. Ding Gursu is gonna send, so you can't make a Splash Mage. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Oh, we also lost the Wave King Caesar. And Lil's gonna Bro, this is like BM. You know he can't do anything with that. You're still gonna send it to the graveyard, and he still has another play. He could still Galatea Reborn, search for the crown. Actually, he's locked up on having too many bodies on the field. Harp Horror in the end phase for a Gursu. Nasty. We were even able to imperm the Wave King Caesar. In freaking sane. Holy moly. TK'd my Bestial wasn't enough to stop Orcust. And it won't be. It won't be. Dormouse, we have Fua loss. And we could draw the Fua. Activate the Fua. Malice plays well under Droll. Orcust plays well under Droll. Beansmith plays well under Droll. Reborn, reborn. Okay, so if we have 3 play, let's draw into another one. Okay, we have 2 normal summons here. This could be discarded with Mermaid. So if we could get into Mermaid, this could be a 4th play. That'd be pretty good. Now, to play through this field, we have Negate and Banish. They could banish multiple cards from our graveyard, which could be quite beneficial. They could non-target banish a card in the field. They could Droll us. And they do have Cryptor, so they could also non-target banish a card in the field. So about 5 forms of disruption, with 3 of them being massively powerful. The weakest ones being the Droll and the banish from the graveyard effect, which are still pretty good. Wow. Funky is on protest. Okay, I will not make a play. All right, Hakimo, just win. And that's how it'll be. We'll go to game 3. All's well. Lethal damage. 1-1. Nah, I don't think I will. Okay. Why? Because he mapped out everything. He mapped out the 2,100 different scenarios. He even mapped out, what if my opponent misplays 3 times in a row? Still wins. Start this off with Ascension. This is Ashable. Ash Negate. Hell no, mate. That Ascension could turn into Fiendsmith, which could turn into Orcust. No. Okay, let's Tract. Well, you could have ashed that. Now, we're going to be dependent on the Impermanence in Nibiru here. Lurie, Reborn. We'll be counting up the Nibiru. You could just see it on the screen. Requiem, still can't Imperm. Summon for the deck. Crimson Tear, send the Engraver here. Reborn back. Now, you'd be thinking, they only have 2 bodies, right? Well, they can equip the Requiem, then summon a 3rd body. So even if we're able to negate the sequence with the Impermanence, we know that they're gonna then go into the Mermaid, and we can't stop it unless we Nibiru. There we go, as I suspected. Doom Dragon. So this is the resilience through Impermanence. We have identified we 100% win this duel if they have it Imperm, but only if they have Imperm. What if they just Nibiru right now? Or I'll let this resolve and then Nibiru the field. I don't even have to Imperm. So we have identified how much better Nibiru is than Impermanence, at least for this specific scenario, where they could play right through the Impermanence, but not through the Nibiru possibly. Ooh, we're going even deeper. How about I Imperm the Wave King Caesar, then Nibiru? Okay, this is getting a little too scary. The Mermaid. Is it a quick effect, a trigger effect? Is it a spell speed 1? This happens on Link Summon. So if you wait any longer, this will on summon activate. You'll have to Nibiru and then chain Imperm. Imperm will negate the Mermaid from summoning from the deck, and then Nibiru would wipe the field. I don't think you want to do that. So I think we're going to have to Imperm the Wave King Caesar, let it resolve, then Nibiru, or Nibiru, they chain, you then chain Impermanence. Woo! What? What are we doing, mate? Wow. He's going to give him access to Orcust. Now, to be fair for Hakumo, let's read this. Let's read this better. 2 monsters with different names. He hasn't normal summoned yet. He hasn't. So if I give him a Nibiru token, all he has to do is normal summon an Ash Blossom. Nibiru token plus Ash Blossom makes the Phoenix 2 different names. It could be a token, then it goes into the Mermaid anyway. Do you see how broken it is to have Moon of the Closed Heaven and Mermaid in the same deck? That now it looks like these 3 hand traps are not, the Nibiru is not even enough, because as we said, it would then go into the freaking Mermaid anyway. So we're gonna let him go real deep into this combo. We're going all the way in. Galatea is a spell speed 1. That's a slow effect. We could have hit them early if we want to. Oh boy. Hakumo's got balls, huge balls. Letting him go this deep because we have the Imperm for the Nibiru. Gersu send the World Wand. The Orcust cards are in circulation. We got the protection of the Babel. And mind you, I'm just going to repeat again. If we were to have Nibiru'd early, the Nibiru token plus an Ash would have been Mermaid anyway. We would have played through it. And then, well, you'd Imperm the Mermaid after Nibiru. You can't. Nibiru is now blocking your Impermanence. And the Imperm by itself, we already identified, was not going to be enough. So we're just in a really weird spot. Now we're going to Nibiru. We're going to chain the Imperm to negate the Wave King Caesar. Negate. All right. Now Crescendo's still going to work on the opponent's turn. We're still going to be able to reborn the Galatea Link 1. Wipe the field. We have Ash. We have Crescendo. But what else do we have? I'm going to check the graveyard as we're ending. So the Link 1 is going to be rebornable by banishing. What we do have to banish is we're going to banish another Orcust card from the graveyard to special summon this, and then we could Crescendo. Now, a good way to deal with the Link 1, if that's the only thing that's enabling the Crescendo, is simply go to battle. Take it out, so then they can't use Crescendo. But do they have more than that? That's the question. Galatea Link 1 and Crescendo plus Ash. I'm scrolling. They have Harpoor. So that means Dingirsu is also a play. They could, so if you try to destroy it by battle, I could reborn Dingirsu even within the battle phase. It's not a Masquerena situation. I could send your Nibiru, and now you lost your battle phase, and I still have Crescendo, so we at least have that. And what else we have? Harpoor. We have 3 solid disruptions. 3. Even through 3, I would say well-timed hand traps, they still have 3 good disruption. Now, they would have had 2. The Ash is kind of cheating. It's a non-engine that they have. Let's Harpoor. Ooh! Now you can't ding me, bro. No ding! Negate the Harpoor. So now a battle phase will turn off the Crescendo. And if we know a battle phase will turn off the Crescendo, are we going to wait to summon the Link 1? We have Ash and Crescendo, that's it. Ash, negate the Allure of Darkness mate. If we reborn Link 1, it will turn on Crescendo, but then Nibiru could destroy it by battle. What are we doing here? You can't turn, I mean, maybe in another format you could do this, but you can't make Splash Mage with this. If you do it confidently and very quickly, sure you can, but this is 2 Cyber Monsters to reborn that Engraved Dormouse. That's why we're Little Knighting instead. Little Knight instead, because this has not been banished yet, Little Knight banish the Dormouse. That's how we're gonna access it. So what happens here? Let's think about this. Dormouse will activate, Crescendo will negate and banish. So we waited for the moment where they can't just battle phase. They cannot just attack over the Link 1 to turn off the Crescendo. The Crescendo definitively will now be activatable and you could not stop it. He held on to it, he waited. Many people, I think, would have just reborned it. They lose the battle phase. And just like that, Crescendo, as we said, very well timed. And what are we left with? We have to, if we take out Galatea, it just reborns next turn if there's another. And Crescendo has this crazy other effect of you could banish this card from the graveyard to add a Dark Machine to then fully pop off and wham bam, thank you ma'am, your opponent from there. So this one card is already full Orcus combo and super lethal damage. Now, what do they have in graveyard? They have nothing. We have a 5,400 token. They have just a Little Knight. That's it. The Crescendo by itself, stop Dormouse, and it's gonna give us full combo. It does lock us in a Dark Machine only, so ideally you can make other plays first. So first, well, now if you make other plays first, you can't even activate Crescendo. So we have just chosen to not Crescendo, but if we just had Crescendo, it would have been enough to win. But we have now turned it off, because Crescendo, unlike the other Orcus cards, is actually balanced. The turn you activate this, you cannot summon a non-Dark Machine. But, you know, as we said, not even needed. The Fiendsmith engine or the Orcus engine, whatever one we choose to use against you, would be enough to defeat you. Orcus Nightmare is in the deck, right? It's still in the deck if we had a card to discard if we wanted to. Mermaid's already used up. And then MP2 link it off. Wow. What do you think? What do you think? Was this a fair best of 3? Did anyone unfairly gain an advantage? Or was this a pretty good showcase of Orcus being the new best deck? I feel like Orcus is the new best deck. I've been saying it already. I think it is. How meticulously we're able to play through Nibiru, Imperm, and Ash. There really wasn't a good time to use either. Still having good disruption through that. Also played really well by Funky. I think Hakima also played very well with Malice. This is just it. This is the new best. And guess what affects both these decks? Lancia. I'm not saying you have to play Lancia again, but Lancia does help against both decks. Boom. Top 16. Lunalight and Orcus were the most played within the top 16. Lunalight is an absolute auto win against the majority of decks by simply summoning one Liger Dancer and they could very easily summon 2, especially under not enough disruption or ideally no disruption. They could still spit out at least 1 Liger under a Drone Lockbird if they know the lines. And if they're not playing Santa Claus with the Fiendsmith to search it, or Wusu within their Mitsurugi deck, just scoop it up, mate. I think Orcust is the best deck of the meta, but you know what's great? This is looking pretty diverse, mate. Let me move my face on over to the other side. This is pretty diverse. Just because a deck is the best does not mean it's oppressing every other deck and every other deck is not playable. It's definitely not the case. With Orcust being the best, it's not what Malice was. It's not what Ryzeal was. I think it is, in many ways, it's still pretty unhealthy. It plays through way too much hand traps. That's pretty freaking disgusting. Being able to Mermaid after the Fiendsmith nonsense, oh my Jesus. Now, let's see what the decks look like. Starting off with Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes with Primite Fusion. Where were you? This dude had to go to work. I wanted, right, I think so. This is who we were supposed to be watching in the top 16, but as soon as he got top 16, he had to leave. Kaiba Man in Blue Eyes with Primite Fusion. Now, with the Primite Fusion, let me read this real quick. I'm not really familiar with this being used. Fusion Summon, and then what are we fusing into? Into this. This states that negate the activated effects of monsters your opponent controls whose level rank link is less than or equal to the number of normal monsters in your field and graveyard. What are you normally gonna have? So, level rank link, 3 Blue Eyes. I get like, but you're probably gonna have 2 to 3 Blue Eyes. I guess Malice is screwed if you have 3 Blue Eyes in the graveyard or on the field, and then Malice monsters can't even activate. What the heck, mate? Or they can, the activations are negated, that is. And then with just 2 Blue Eyes, Link 1 and Link 2s don't work? Huh, kind of interesting. Maybe I gotta pick up Blue Eyes for the Primite Fusion. I mean, you know, it is searchable with the load. Load it up, grab the Primite Fusion. Good job, base. And then we have Branded. Morpho with the 60 card deck. I'm gonna look at it through this view. Let's see. My head's not blocking it, so we're good. Interesting. I like Book of Eclipse, a lot of fun in fusion decks, as I was saying. Flipping monsters face down is always a good time. Other than that, you know, it's standard. Everything's standard here. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing new being used. Okay, good job, Morpho. And then we have Warrior Combo. Slayton, again, I'm gonna open you up over here. Slayton, what the heck is your deck, mate? Oh my gosh, this is just everything. Freaking everything. This is Sky Striker to go into 2 Warriors so that you could go into Isolt. It's not just a 60 card deck. It's almost like a singleton deck. There's very few cards you play more than 1. This is a chonky freaking deck list, mate. Good job to you. Any rating duels with Argo Stars? Damn, I gotta check out that deck list. You got replays and notes also? I got some dueling to do. I gotta catch up. All right, good job, Slayton. And then, wait. The only Sky Striker in top 16 is Warrior Combo? That's sad. That's a disappointment. I think, I want to say Sky Striker's underrepresented here. There's no way that they didn't get top 16. I think next tournament, at least one will make top 16. Definitely. This is just, I think Luna Light has outshined Sky Striker because you got to think, what makes a deck good? Doing something unfair. Liger Dancer is really freaking unfair. And is Sky Striker really unfair? Let's see. Fiendsmith Control. Haga, Santa Claus, gotta do it. Santa Claus is here, it's top tier, even playing 2-tracked to make it a little more consistent. Summon it over their Liger, destroy it, add it back with the Lacrima, then summon it over the second Liger. And ideally, they're just not even able to summon 2 Ligers on the field. Just one Santa Claus should usually be enough. I mean, this is filled to the brim with hand traps. Even a Bestial is gonna make it more difficult to summon 2 Ligers on the field. And then we have Dinomorphia. Comms boy with the dino. Good job to you. Bro is not playing Ferret Flames, where people are... Lunalight has entered the meta. Ferret Flames would make them return Liger back in the deck, and he's like, nah, I don't need it. And also a trap deck not playing Daruma. Daruma deals with Liger. Let me turn off the music in the background. Interesting. And what else we have here? Crystron. Kid Art top 4. There is the main deck. Is looking similarly to what it was back in the day. About 5 to 6 months ago, being back in the day. Were those good days or what? Do we look fondly before Ryzeal and not Mitsurugi, but Ryzeal and Malice? Now we got the pure Mitsurugi. Black OP with the Wusu. Now, Santa Claus is usable more than once in the same turn. Wusu is going to be for just one Liger, but again, hand traps, they're only going to summon one Liger through your hand traps, and then you Wusu, they're one Liger, so this passes the Liger check. Well done. Same thing, Mobile X with the Wusu, of course, standard part of the pure way to play Mitsurugi. Good job to both of you. And then we got to find a way to connect your name to your deck list. Malice. Top 8 Drex. Drex tops every single week with Malice. He also wins meta weeklies with Malice. And this is our second tournament with Apollo Band and Chessie to 1. He keeps on doing well. Good job. And then we have Hakimo, second place, almost defeating Orchist. All right. Looks good, nothing too crazy. People are still not coping on Signet mining. Interesting. I mean, 3 allure, this dude's only on 1 allure, no Signet mining. I'm not advocating for Signet mining. Then we have the Lunalight decks. Luna lights it up. The Nyarla. Being able to detach by effect. So if you are not able to trigger the effect of something like Martin, you can get the Martin out and then Exceed it, detach it by effect, search your deck. We have 1 heavy polymerization. Well done. Good job, Hipster. And we then have Terramare. Terramare on the triple heavy poly, just like the top 8 deck of the 5,000 player YCS in Japan. Looking good. We got Nyarla. Looks like Nyarla is a standard card. Yep. And then Terramare, Bori non-Nyarla. We got Boring It Up with the Black Goat Laughs. Get Laughing, triple heavy polymerization. Got the 1 Foolish Barrel of Goods. Only 1 Fractal. What is going on here on where we don't want to play more than 1 Fractal? Okay. 2 Hound. What are they all on? 2 Hound, 2 Hound, 2 Hound. Let me bring this on over to the top decks page to analyze them a little bit better. Looking at these. So triple super, 1 on heavy, the other on 2. I could just bring this up on the breakdown. We'll do tournaments only. So tournament only breakdown filter, only ones that have top tournaments. 100% spread across these. The majority are on 2 Black Sheep, 1 on 3. The majority on 3 heavy poly, 1 on 1. Not even all 3 on 3 Tenki. I mean, Tenki, you don't, triple Tenki. I think I was playing with 1 Tenki. Tenki is settable with the rank 4 Xyz, with 100% of them playing Tiger King, of course. 100% on 2, 100% on 2. There's some contention on Fractal. The majority are on 1 Fractal, where the others are just on playing 3 versus 1. And then the rest of the deck is looking very similar. The 1 person, not on Emerald Bird at all. And I feel like this would be a card that I do side deck out on a TCG simulator. Okay, and now let's check out the rest of the decks. So there you go, a nice little view on how to play Lunalight and their differences. And then we have Orchist. Starting from the bottom, 40 card Orchist, Millennium, Fiendsmith, Orchist, Moon of the Closed Heaven, into Mermaid. How do you stop it? You don't. We got Santa Claus in the main deck, as I think we should. Don't ignore Lunalight. Don't just easy surrender to them. And then we have Mitchell. Mitchell is not on Santa Claus, but same thing. Millennium, Fiendsmith Orcus. This is the new Snake Eye Fiendsmith. That's all this is. And then Funkanator on the Santa Claus. But I think, I guess two things are kind of crazy here. No Ryzeal. Already? I mean, Konami gave you Onomat to try to help circumvent some of the hits they did onto Ryzeal. That's wild. And I mean, they even, to help you out, they dropped Droll to 2. They're like, oh crap, you're not playing Ryzeal and you don't want to play Mitsurugi as much. We'll reduce it to 2 and then maybe you could whip it back out. People still don't want to play it. And then no Sky Striker. I guess I don't want to get Drolled. I'm playing Sky. I like continually adding from the deck. You know, you search with the Sky Striker 0, you search with the Engage, you search with the Engage. I can't do that under freaking Droll. So are people really turned off from playing Sky Striker and Ryzeal because of Droll? You're now more reliant on not getting Drolled because of your Sword and X Ryzeal being limited to 1. With them being limited to 1, you have to search them. And if you search, you get Drolled. So interesting. With semi-limit Droll, that is still keeping players in check from wanting to over-search their deck. Well done to all of you. Were any of you on Lancia? I do want to check that real quick. So let's see. Tournaments, Meta Weekly. Let's type in Lancia. 0 Lancia. This was last week. 0. How much Droll? That is 10, 11, 12. 12 out of 16 on Droll. But how many are on 2 Droll? 2 Droll is 10, 11. 11 out of 12 on Droll or on maximum Droll. 2 Droll maximum. So there you go. All right.